Hello, I'm Benson Porter, President and CEO of BECU. I'd like to officially welcome you to our 5th Annual Member Summit and our first summit held virtually. For those of you who tuned in last week to our annual membership meeting, where you heard about the election of our board officials, welcome back. As a not-for-profit financial cooperative, BECU is owned by our members. We are founded in 1935 on the concept of people helping people, and our efforts to deliver on this philosophy also extend to the communities where our members live and work. Today is a celebration of both our members and communities, and we're honored you are here with us. This is one of my favorite events throughout the year because it brings together our primary areas of focus, our members and communities. I'll be joined shortly by 2 leaders at BECU to speak to several highlights from this past year, in addition to the direction that we're headed. I don't have to remind you that 2020 was a challenging year. No year in recent history brought us this much turmoil. COVID-19 completely reshaped every aspect of our lives, and many people lost loved ones to the pandemic while others experienced devastating financial losses. And mid-year, the nation faced a long overdue reckoning with the pain of racism. This drove many people and organizations to re-examine their role in leading change in our communities. What I'm most proud of from this past year is a true reflection of our cooperative spirit. Our employees came together to serve our members, and we partnered with others to navigate the challenges of 2020 together as a community. This past year called for actions by BECU and our employees, from member relief programs to commitments to become a more inclusive organization. And each of these actions were rooted in our purpose and values, which were more important than ever before. Fueled by our purpose, our teams worked hard every day to bring people together to improve the financial well-being of our members and their communities. Before we dive deeper into our accomplishment and challenges, I'd like to invite our Chief Financial Officer, Melba Bartels, to share a few business highlights from this past year. You'll see that our solid financial foundation supported our work in giving back to our members and communities. Please welcome Melba.
Thank you, Benson. As we look back to what was a year of unprecedented challenges, it's very gratifying to be able to speak to you today and provide you with reassurance that your credit union remains healthy and provide some of our key highlights for the year. As the CFO of a financial cooperative, I am keenly aware of the connection between the financial health of BECU and our ability to support you, our members. While the pandemic has impacted all of us and continues to drive some level of uncertainty, thanks to thoughtful planning, I am confident in sharing that BECU remains in a strong financial position. Let me share a few highlights. In 2020, we welcomed nearly 95,000 new members to BECU, including more than 9,600 new business members. In fact, business services continues to be one of our fastest growing areas, and more members than ever initiated their membership online at becu.org, which we've made much easier to do. This grew our total membership by nearly 3.8% year over year to over 1.28 million members. Our assets, which primarily represent loans to members and investments that put member deposits to work for the co-op, also increased in 2020 by a whopping 20.7% year over year to $26.8 billion. This growth was in large part due to changes in our members' spending behavior and government stimulus deposits, which led to a strong member deposit growth of 25% year over year. We ended 2020 with $22.5 billion in deposits as compared to $17.9 billion at the end of 2019. As I mentioned earlier, by growing sustainably, we gain even greater resources for the cooperative as a whole, and we are thoughtful in how we spend our members' money to sustain the credit union. That way, we are able to generate an appropriate level of return on our assets, which in turn ensures we have the capital to continue to grow, invest, innovate, and continue serving you, our members, for many years to come. One of the most important measures of the credit union's financial strength is our net worth ratio. A strong net worth ratio ensures we can continue to invest and support growth, but also serves as protection against unforeseen or unusual losses, like the impacts of a global pandemic. To be considered well capitalized by the National Credit Union Administration, otherwise known as NCUA, our net worth must exceed 7%. While down slightly from the prior year, primarily due to strong asset growth, BECU's net worth ratio at the end of 2020 was 10.11%, well above NCUA's requirements. This enabled us to weather the storm, so to speak, while also supporting members through a very turbulent financial time. We expect our capital position to remain healthy in 2021, which will help us face whatever challenges this year may bring. Over the course of 2020, we remained focused on supporting our members during a time of significant challenges, while at the same time ensuring BECU maintained a healthy financial position. That came in the form of lower rates on some of our deposit accounts and adjusted pricing on our credit cards as we adjusted to the impacts of a historically low and flat economic interest rate environment. Now, we know this is disappointing to members who were impacted by these changes. I can assure you these are difficult decisions and one that we take very seriously. At the same time, we supported our members through a difficult year by providing low to no fee refinancing on home mortgages last year, which allowed our members greater access to the advantages of a low rate environment. We also worked hard to deliver value in other ways by waiving many fees for members, like late fees and excess transaction fees, as well as providing greater flexibility on loan payments for those who needed it. Benson will speak more to that shortly. Our return to member value is a key metric that we actively monitor and manage. It captures the value we bring to our members compared to traditional banks. This includes lower rates on loans, higher deposit rates, and low to no fees on the majority of our products and services. In 2020, we returned over $372 million to members in the form of better rates or lower fees compared to bank averages. That's an average of $294 per member. One example of return to member is our reprice program. If a member isn't already paying our lowest published rate, this program automatically lowers the interest rate on many of our loan products, including credit cards and lines of credit, when a member's credit score improves and they pay their bills on time. Through this program, BECU saved nearly 50,000 members an estimated $4.8 million in 2020. Another example of return to member is our first-time homebuyer grant program. We introduced this program in 2018 with $1 million to support members who were qualified homebuyers but needed a little extra assistance with the down payment. Last year, BECU doubled our grant dollars and provided over $2 million to support the purchase of 335 homes. Since the program launched in 2018, we have granted over $4.5 million through 780 loans to first-time homebuyers. Our goal is and continues to be finding ways to remove barriers that members face with important financial milestones, and this program is a great example of that. Even with the difficulties of the past year, our employee heroes did an amazing job of supporting our members. And that support included millions of interactions, including visits to our neighborhood financial centers, contact through emails, phone calls, and messenger chats, ATM transactions, and logins to becu.org or our mobile app. So whether you visited one of our locations or chose to engage with us digitally, my hope is that we were able to assist you in a way that aligns with our values and purpose and supported you in reaching your financial goals, especially during these trying times. As we continue to manage through 2021, please know that BECU is well positioned to continue supporting you, our members, and it is our honor to do so. Thank you, and now I'd like to welcome back Benson.
Thank you, Melba. As I mentioned earlier, like every organization, COVID-19 impacted the way we worked and interacted. Through it all, we prioritized the health and safety of our members and employees. We moved quickly to protect our employees and members while remaining open through the pandemic. We took all the safeguards recommended by public health agencies, and I'm pleased to report that we are unaware of any transmission of the virus between a BECU member and an employee. I give my sincere thanks to all of our BECU frontline employees for the tremendous service they provided to our members this past year and continue to provide. They are both essential and critical. We transitioned a significant percentage of our employees to working remotely and did so almost overnight. We increased our digital capabilities to serve our members in more convenient ways and to reduce the need for in-person interactions. And we had many employees step into new roles to help meet new member needs. There are countless incredible stories of how our teams stepped up and innovated this past year, and I could not be prouder of these efforts. I'm also proud of how we supported our members this past year. Many of our members shared stories of being laid off and furloughed, and many of our local business members were impacted by the shutdowns and reduced traffic. And we joined everyone in facing fears and concerns about the personal and financial health of our communities. This was a time to take care of things that mattered most and address these challenges as a community. In response to the crisis, we introduced new relief options available to members who needed the extra support this past year, and we expanded our financial education and counseling. We funded over $7 million through more than 3,600 loans for members facing reduced income this past year, with the ability to borrow up to $2,500 at a very low interest rate. This was a product our team was able to introduce to members in a matter of days, when we saw members in need of quick cash. Our assistance extended beyond our products and programs. We offered financial health check assistance to members who applied for an income interruption loan, and introduced GreenPath Financial Wellness Counseling to members at no charge. In total, 1,300 members used GreenPath's wide range of services this past year. In all, we delivered more than 26,000 loan payment relief actions, impacting loan balances totaling $530 million. This included modifying and deferring loan payments in addition to waiving late and transaction fees, along with other actions. Our business members were also hit hard by the pandemic, so our team moved quickly to support the SBA's Paycheck Protection Program, otherwise known as PPP. In total, we funded over 2,500 PPP loans to our business members, totaling nearly $96 million, and ultimately helped protect local jobs for more than 11,000 people. Finally, BECU also pledged much-needed support to local nonprofits by supporting the community relief funds of nearly a dozen foundations totaling $620,000 this past year. Our employees had millions of interactions with members this past year. We listened to their personal stories and took action to provide some financial relief during this time of crisis. Let's hear from some of them now.
Well, the members that we were working with were people that were displaced out of their work, on furlough, businesses that had closed, that kind of thing. Their challenges were taking care of their families, having enough money to take care of their basic needs. Sometimes their car payment wasn't the most important thing, or their visa payment wasn't the most important thing. There must have been hundreds and hundreds of members that we were able to assist. Whether it was deferring payments for a couple months, or if they were working part-time, they were able to make partial payments, so we were able to lower their payments for a couple months and just try to get them back on track and being comfortable.
Last year, we had a member that was injured, and due to COVID circumstances, he got unemployed as well. Because of that, he fell behind on his auto loan. We ended up giving him a few months of assistance, which made him current on his auto loan and also give him some time to settle his affairs. Within a couple months, he was on his road to recovery and even found a better job. The member was thankful for our assistance and appreciated how professional and courteous we were. When I'm able to help out a member like that, it makes my heart full.
The biggest thing when I think about it is trying to connect to them on a human level and making sure that they know that they're not alone. So it's just trying to find that connection, that human connection, and they appreciate that. They can feel it. They really know that we're there to help them and not judge. I've worked for BECU for 6 years now, and I've always been very proud to say that I work for this organization. This last year, though, has really felt the most rewarding to be able to help members, see a light at the end of the tunnel.
I had to make the decision to actually close my program because the schools were closing. And a lot of childcares tend to follow what schools do as well. So the schools were deciding to close down for 6 weeks, so we made that same decision to close down in that same time period. When I decided to move forward with the PPP loan, I ended up working with a gentleman, Tyler, who worked in the business department. He's like, we're gonna get you in, we're gonna get you in the first weekend, and he did. And he actually processed my, my application, that weekend, and I actually got accepted that Sunday. And it was pretty awesome to be able to feel that sense of security, knowing that everything was going to be okay. And it was because of Tyler. It was a business saver at the time, and just my experience with having somebody sit there and work for a small business and really try to help the small business person to be able to continue to succeed. That's why I'm still with BECU.
I've always believed what makes BECU a special place is our employees. I'm so inspired by what they do every day to serve our members and community. As you've heard, the financial health of our member drives everything we do. Last year, we invested in digital products and resources to boost our members' savings. This included several new savings tools. We introduced Save Up, an automated savings tool that enables you to build savings by either rounding up or transferring a flat amount into your savings account with each debit card purchase. And we piloted Quick Save, a feature in our mobile app that allows you to swipe right to transfer small amounts of money from checking to savings. We introduced this to members as a pilot in 2020 and look forward to launching Quick Save to everyone in the BECU app this year. In total, more than 34,000 members saved $4.6 million through our Save Up and Quick Save programs this past year. Our financial educators always stress the importance of building your emergency savings accounts, so we're inspired by these early results. As we look forward to developing more ways to make it easier and more fun for members to increase their savings and build long-term financial resiliency. We also enhanced our mobile experience to make it easier for members to manage their debit card, check their credit score each month, set travel notifications, and more through the BECU mobile app. These are just some of the examples of our digital investments, and I'll speak more to these later on. As a credit union, we recognize the need to expand access to financial services to all communities. We are committed to becoming more equitable, diverse, and inclusive cooperative, both internally and externally. The difficult conversations ushered in this past summer inspired necessary self-reflection and action. We came together to develop a path forward that places inclusiveness and equity at the core of who we are and honors our purpose and values. I'm excited to introduce to you Jackie Martinez-Vasquez, our new Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. We welcome Jackie to BECU in September. She'll share more about our efforts to help lead our equity strategies to support this long-term commitment.
Thank you, Benson. I was honored to join BECU and am proud to lead our work across the credit union to demonstrate our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion through more inclusive policies, practices, and programs. We're a business that employs and serves a diverse community, and we have the responsibility to recognize and help dismantle harmful and pervasive systems of inequity. As BECU, we believe that leveraging our differences, whether in background, perspective, or thought, is critical to our success in providing a healthy workplace. It supports our goals to deliver exceptional value and service to our growing membership, and our commitment to providing greater access to banking and credit for underserved communities. Today, I will be sharing the progress we have made with our employees and community. In 2021, our DEI focus will be expanded to membership. Here are some of the steps we took to make progress towards becoming a more inclusive and racially equitable organization in 2020. One of our core goals is diverse representation at all levels across BECU. So we began reporting on our recruiting, hiring, retention, promotion, and talent development. Employees can now use our new internal dashboard for updates on employee representation. We are proud of our highly diverse staff. Our initial reports show that overall, BECU is reflective of women and people of color in the communities we serve. We also recognize that we need to create additional opportunities to ensure more diversity is reflected at every level of the organization. This includes senior leadership, particularly at the director level and above, and our executive management team. Other areas of opportunity include increasing the representation of Hispanic Latino employees throughout BECU, in addition to women of color at the senior vice president level and men of color at the executive level. To support respectful member and employee interactions, our team reinforced expectations that help create a safe and welcoming environment for everyone at BECU. This is reflected in our respectful workplace policy. We also introduced a new member code of conduct, which is available on becu.org. Additionally, our HR team provides ongoing learning and development resources for employees that enforce BUILD, which stands for Belonging, Inclusion, and Leveraging Differences. Each day, I am inspired by employees working to expand their knowledge, invite transparent dialogue, and ultimately help BECU become more racially equitable, diverse, and inclusive organization. One of the most popular ways employees have brought our commitment to life is by leading or joining employee associations, known as employee connection groups. These groups are key to our internal DEI efforts. They provide community building and development opportunities, support our retention efforts, and help us create a more inclusive BECU. You may have also recognized new content inspired by these groups to celebrate additional History Heritage Months on our social media channels and becu.org. Our commitment to racial equity extends to our local communities. Our philanthropic focus has traditionally been to support organizations focused on increasing the financial well-being of our communities, including helping our most vulnerable populations. Recently, we took a step further to be even more intentional about aligning our philanthropy with the best practices of equity and inclusion. We recognize organizations serving marginalized and culturally diverse communities through our annual People Helping People Awards program. In addition, our BECU Cares program supported 2-for-1 gift match of employees to 10 organizations identified by BECU's Black Alliance Cooperative. In July, we launched a new giving program called the Black Community Development Project, committing $5 million over the next 5 years to nonprofits that focus on improving the overall emotional, physical, financial health, and well-being of the Black community. We have a short video to share more of these efforts.
The Black Community Development Project for BECU is a $5 million 5-year commitment. We did this in response to much of the racial reckoning that we had seen locally and nationally. This really was an opportunity for us to honor our community and our members and focus on improving the overall emotional, physical, and financial well-being of the Black community. It is the first step in what we see as a much larger philanthropic effort. The strategy for this was really about partnering with local nonprofits, and in particular those that are led by Black leaders or employ predominantly multicultural staff. These individuals have a certain level of lived experience that is inextricably connected to the issues that Black communities face. And so it was so about being representative and serving these individuals in a really thoughtful way. Grassroots, kind of lean, nonprofit organizations who may not necessarily have the backing like much larger organizations that are peers, but anything related to youth programming, education, and outreach at a local scale. In addition to that, we're looking at some statewide collaboratives that will inform other efforts for Black communities across the state, as well as some national collaboratives as well that have an impact around efforts of diversity inclusion and overall financial health and well-being for Black communities.
The grant that came from BECU was not just about the fact that we were going to be able to maintain for another 3 to 4 months, possibly 5 months on this $30,000. But more importantly, it was a testimony of support because of the fact that when all of this happened, a lot of things were happening in our community that was really, really impactful to Black and brown families. And that so many of our students were feeling that no one really cared about them or their journey. And to have an organization like BECU say, we care about you, we believe in you, that meant a lot, not just to me and the work that I do, but also to the children and the families that I stand.
Funding from BECU's Black Community Development Project couldn't have come at a better time for us as an organization. We were still weathering the depths of the pandemic, which had a huge impact on the arts sector in general, and specifically quite a bit on Black arts organizations and the Black community that we serve. The funding enabled us to invest in critical infrastructure, particularly internet infrastructure, to allow us to stream a lot of our programs and remain connected to our community members who couldn't join us in person here at the venue. It also allowed us to invest in paying artists for their work for future events that we're going to be doing, including We Out Here, which runs up through Juneteenth in June, as well as the Seattle Black Film Festival, which just wrapped on April 25th. There's no limit to what we can achieve when we're working together and uplifting the folks who have been most adversely affected by our policies, our history, the stresses that are on our communities as a whole. So I think that I would just say centering Black voices, the work that BECU has done with the community, the Black Community Development Project, has been inspirational, and it's sort of a model that I hope a lot of other local corporations will take on. And the end result of lifting up Black voices is an improved community for all of us. And so I just applaud that work, and that's definitely what we're all about here at Langston, and what I'm encouraged to see that BECU is leaning into as well.
By supporting programs and nonprofits that help provide equitable access to financial tools and resources, educational workforce opportunities, and promote justice, we are in direct alignment with our purpose and values as a cooperative. Our goal is to face adversity together, to support each other in dismantling systems of inequity. I believe that we're up for the challenge, and I look forward to sharing more with you in the future about these efforts to drive change. Thank you for joining us today. Back to you, Benson.
Thanks, Jackie. Let me turn our attention to 2021 and our priorities for the credit union. We are focused on 4 main strategic priorities that will drive the organization forward. The first is culture, which includes our commitment to being an even more inclusive organization, as Jackie spoke to earlier. Examples of this work include expanding our employee connection groups internally and our focus on developing more financially inclusive products for our members. The next priority is infrastructure, of which a big focus is our digital transformation efforts, with an end goal of improving our member and employee experiences. Examples of this work include revamping our loan origination systems and improving our employee digital collaboration tools. Next priority is member experience, by focusing on making it easier for you to manage your money with BECU and increase your financial health. For members, this is reflected in continuing to enhance your digital experience, including making it easier for you to apply for products and loans online at becu.org, and introducing features like digital savings envelopes. For businesses, we're in the midst of rolling out enhancements to our business online banking experience. And lastly, for our communities, we will continue partnering with local nonprofits in unique ways to expand how we use the BECU Foundation. And the final priority is sustainable growth. Growing and maintaining the financial strength of your cooperative is essential to the quality and longevity of the organization, and ultimately creates more value for our members. This is reinforced through the digital enhancements and new products that I mentioned previously. BECU leaders will speak more to some of these areas in the Q&A sessions later this evening. So I encourage you to attend and learn more and ask questions about our future commitments and the ways in which we continue to innovate our organization on behalf of you, our member owners. This last year tested us in many ways, but I'm a firm believer that we are stronger as a team and a better organization as a result. The lessons from 2020 propel us forward. Using our values and purpose as a guide, we remain committed to a simple but inspiring idea. People helping people makes us more powerful as individuals and as a community. I appreciate you joining us this evening to learn more about your cooperative and invite you to join our other sessions to engage with our financial experts and other BECU leaders. We have 15 options to choose from covering a variety of financial topics, so no matter what your financial milestone that you're preparing for, we've got you covered. I hope you have a great evening.